breaking down the new Kardashian lawsuit against Ray J. Y'all, come on in here because it is very, very stupid. It is so very stupid, and I'm about to show you why. It's your girl, Attorney Simone, your legal bestie. Hit that like, hit that subscribe as you come on in. And don't forget, you can always go to my website, which is simoneredwine.com, to book a consultation with me starting at only $200 for 30 minutes. And I do consultations for legal matters across the nation, from small business to employment to personal injury. Also, my personal injury consultations, if you've been injured in an auto accident, etc., that's actually my specialty. Those are free. Also, if it's a title matter, if you have a property in the state of Texas and you want assistance with closing that, I would be happy to do so through my title company. We'll help you with that throughout the state of Texas. You can reach out as well. Instructions on how to do so are in the description below. Now, let's get right on to it, y'all. Here we go. Let's see. Let's adjust this here. So basically, the Kardashians have finally sued Ray J. Ray J has been saying crazy stuff about multiple people for years. He talked about being with Sexy Red. That was a lie. He talked about all kind of stuff. So the Kardashians have come out here, y'all, and they powwowed him with a lawsuit. Now, it is a defamation lawsuit. Let's hop right on in it. So the basis of their claims is that Ray J went on TV after the Diddy case and said that Kim Kardashian and Kris Jenner are going to be facing a RICO case via him as a result of things that he is aware of and that he knows about them, and that what they have done, quote, is worse than Diddy, is what Ray J says. So that's the context. We're going to go through this lawsuit, and the lawsuit is so very stupid. It's 13 pages, okay? The Cassie lawsuit against Diddy, that one was 35 pages or so. This one is 13. We don't even need to look at all of them because it is that stupid. And I'm going to tell you this right now. As you look at this, honey, this is all about PR. This is a publicity PR move. This is because what Ray J has said appears to have concerned some of their investors and or brands that they work with and or pending deals. And they're basically going to the Kardashians and say, what is this man talking about? Now, we know Ray J is a little loony freaking toony. He is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. It reminds me of my auntie, but my auntie Joyce, if you know about her, she was real sweet. She got into some bad crack when she was 15 and ran away from home. And they say she's never been right since. She used to do things like, when I was 4 years old and I told her I wanted to learn how to chew bubble gum and make bubbles, she said, oh, baby girl, I'll teach you how to make bubbles. And she did, and she pulled back and she taught me how to make spit bubbles. Spit bubbles, not regular bubbles. Because she was a good person, but she's loony toony. See, that's how Ray J is. He is not okay. But just because you're loony freaking toony doesn't mean you get to run around lying on people costing them millions if there's a lie. So stay with me as we get into this page by page. All right. Now I got a little highlights. Okay. So the nature of the action, and I thought this was interesting. And I do have my watermark behind it because people like to steal my stuff and not give me credit. Thank you to you jurors out there, those people who have been like, hey, Legal Bestie, this is her stuff. You need to give her credit. So basically from paragraph 2, the action arises from Ray J's latest, most malicious, defamatory conduct, which is declaring to millions of social media viewers that plaintiffs, which is Kim and her mama Kris, are subjects of a federal criminal racketeering investigation. Ray J's defamatory campaign began May 30th of 2025. Y'all, they just filed this lawsuit October 1st. It says, which was yesterday, it says, when he appeared on TMZ Presents United States versus Sean Combs and stated that, quote, racketeering charges against the Kardashians would be appropriate. And, quote, if you told me that the Kardashians were being charged for racketeering, I might believe it. Priming his audience for more sensational falsehoods to come. Then on September 24th, 2025, Ray J escalated his attacks during a social media live stream broadcast to millions, declaring, quote, the federal RICO I'm about to drop on Kris and Kim is about to be crazy. And that, quote, the feds is coming. Now, mind you, this is future tense. The feds is coming. Now, we're not going to talk about the syntax errors there. We're all familiar how that's stupid. But then it goes on to say the feds is coming. And Ray J then announced to the millions of viewers that the racketeering case against the plaintiffs would be, quote, worse than Diddy. All right, we're going to hop forward. Okay, this is just an intro. None of this is law. This is just the intro. Then it says, quote, over the years, Ray J has repeatedly fabricated sensationalized claims and resorted to vulgar remarks about prominent women, apparently in hopes of staying relevant in the media. And, or it could be crack. It could be crack. It could be coke. It's something. It's not water. It's not Gatorade. It's not electrolytes that makes him behave this way. It's something. I'm going to read that to you one more time because this is important. It says, over the years, Ray J has repeatedly fabricated sensationalized claims and resulted to vulgar remarks about prominent women, apparently in hopes of staying relevant in the media. For example, hold on. So when I first read that, right? Now stop right there. When I first read that little piece right there, I said, oh, of course, they're talking about him lying on prominent women. Of course, they are now going to go in and describe how previously Ray J got up there. And if you see it right here, Ray J got on Beyonce's internet and he started leaking and making lies about how Kim Kardashian and her mama structured the S tape and completely orchestrated it, and that none of that was an accident and that was all orchestrated by her mama. That's the lie, right? That's a lie that they're going to historically talk about. Nope. No, ma'am. No, sir. This is very important context. To me, what this entire complaint proves is Ray J wasn't lying when he said the entire sex S tape situation was a lie. It was not leaked. It was orchestrated by the alleged, who they call it, the pimptress herself, Momager, Kris Kardashian. Okay? Because if you're going to file a defamation suit against someone, you're going to include all the defamatory things they have ever said about you. And more specifically, when you got a paragraph like this one, hold on, I'm going to bring it. We're going to go one more again. Hold on. Look at it. Like this one here. That specifically says, over the years, Ray J has repeatedly lied, fabricated, it says, sensationalized claims on women. And then you say, for example, don't you list your doggone self first? Where's my gosh darn gavel? I don't know. I'm a little pack rat. Anyway, we're going to pretend like this is my gavel. Oops. Oh, my goddamn gavel. Oh, here you go. Sorry, it's behind my Starbucks. Yes. You're going to start with the lies that he said when he talked about the revenue splits and but they haven't. So it doesn't mean he didn't defame them under these facts, which we're going to get into. But I'm saying this petition here confirms for me Ray J wasn't lying when he said all of that was orchestrated, which then in turn means how mama sold it to the highest bidder. Her mother sold her to the highest bidder. And that is a concern that many have had about Kris Jenner's behavior. I've heard multiple people speak about the fact that had Kris Jenner been a black mom, she would have been seen as a terrible mom, as a mom that was prostituting her daughters, etc. Because let's not forget, Kylie Jenner was a teen mom because every single one of her daughters were unwed mothers. Every one of them. And Kylie Jenner was a teen mom. You know how hard it is to be a millionaire teen mom? And she was a teen mom and had a grown man. You know, her mama sold her to allowed her to date a grown man because he was famous and he had money and this, that, and third. And let's not forget how Kim Kardashian went on Oprah and told Oprah about how when she was in middle school, Her mama gave her birth control and let her spend the night and have sex with her boyfriend. So I'm just saying, this is context. We're going to go into it a bit further. Now, here's a clip of Kim talking to Oprah and describing just that.
I had a boyfriend at a really young.
She says, let me just make sure you can hear Oprah's question. Okay, let's roll that back, Oprah. There you go.
About anything.
What did she tell you about sex? What did she tell you about
boyfriend at a really young age?
Teenager.
I mean, we met when I was like 12 or 13.
You were
you were 12 or 13. 12 or 13.
Boyfriend?
No,
12?
No,
12?
Yeah, he was like a part of the family. Yeah, he was like a part of the family.
Now, I have to say, in my culture, which is African American culture, you're not allowed to have a boyfriend at 12 or 13 for various reasons.
So open with my mom that when I did want to have sex for the first time, I did tell her. And I said, I think I'm going to, or I want to. And she was like, okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to put you on birth control. And she was like really open and honest.
How old were you then? Can you share that?
I was almost 15. Almost 15.
14. 14. 14. She goes on in other interviews and talks about how it was like, you know how the Jackson 5, they had the singer group, those little boys. Her mom used to let her spend the night as a middle schooler. And like freshman, spend the night at her boyfriend's house. Why? Because they had money. She wouldn't let her do that. One little to no little boy from no regular family. They were the Jacksons. So it was okay for her to have her little teenage daughter spend the night at those young men's house. I'm just saying, this is all context for the rest of the petition. Now, going back to the petition. Here we are. All right. So the rest of the petition, it goes on to basically outline the issues with Ray J's allegations. It goes on to say that in paragraph 16, it says, here we are. It said, or in paragraph 5, Ray J's acknowledged animosity towards the Kardashian family, coupled with his demonstrated willingness to lie for attention. Now, we can acknowledge that boy do be lying. He do be lying. We are not going to say that man don't lie. His willingness to lie for attention leaves no room for doubt that his recent RICO statements were neither careless nor impulsive. So if it's like careless or impulsive, it could be eliminated for the law, given that these are celebrities. So the standard for defamation against a celebrity is maliciousness, meaning you either have to absolutely know it's not true, or it has to be done with absolute wanton disregard for the truth, meaning you didn't make any type of investigation into whether the sources that you used to come to before you said this were credible. All right. So it says the malicious campaign of harassment and defamation intended to defame plaintiffs while reviving his own fading notoriety. No, just for number 6. That's arguable. Okay. Number 6, Ray J's May 20th, 2025, September 24th, public statements related to a non-existent RICO investigation into plaintiffs. Those are together, quote, the defamatory statements, and they have been widely disseminated through the media, causing substantial and ongoing harm to plaintiffs' personal and professional reputations. So this is why I say, y'all, this is honestly about publicity and PR. Understandably, if I had a brand worth what theirs is, I would do whatever it takes to protect it as well. It says media reports have repeated Ray J's fake allegations with headlines stating, quote, racketeering charges make more sense for the Kardashians than Diddy, and detailing that, quote, Ray J is railing against the racketeering conspiracy charge Diddy is facing. He says a RICO charge against the Kardashians would be more believable. Now we're going to hop into the actual statements, right? Because with a defamation claim, you literally have to go statement by statement. So one statement, according to a court, could be seen as defamatory and another could not. And then he would only be held liable to the statements that were considered defamatory. Now, all this is just like background on Kim and her, what they're worth and how great they are. Oh, great. Okay, it's on the screen. You can read it if you want. You can pause it. I don't care. I'm going to get to the meat of it, okay? Because the way my ADD is set up, we get into the meat of the matter. I'm trying to make these super long. I like my lives, where it's more engaging, but I want to give you guys the facts so you can tell me your thoughts, because this case is going to go on for a minute. Let me say this too. All right, now we're going to go into the defamatory statements, which is the most important part. All the rest of that is the publicity PR stuff. Here's what generally happens with these kind of cases. All that Kim and Chris want is for him to shut the fuck up. Ray J, shut the fuck up. I don't think that at this point their goal isn't to obtain millions and millions from Ray J. It's to get an agreement from Ray J that he will keep their name out of his mouth, shut the hell up. And also, what this lawsuit does is, to the extent that they have different brands or clients that are concerned that, this is a client that's going to be walking to a RICO type of charge, it's going to assuage the concerns of those fans. For example, look at how Jay-Z filed the John Doe lawsuit against the Tony Busby and Tony Busby's law firm and etc., claiming extortion. That was all to pause the bleeding so that brands don't disassociate themselves from him while they're trying to go through this. So I say that to say, with defamation lawsuits, a lot of time, it's not about winning in the traditional sense. It's not about going to a trial and getting millions. A lot of times, it's just about getting the other party to shut the fuck up, to shut the heck up, okay? Here are the defamatory statements. We're going to go line by line, and I'm going to tell you which ones I think could be a problem and which ones I'm like, girl, no, y'all know better. And not only do they know better, but it's why I'm saying they don't really think certain statements is defamatory and can be actionable, but it's not about that. It's about scaring Ray J into feeling that or believing that the Kardashians will bankrupt you over this lawsuit. So just go shut up and or sign a private agreement that says you're going to keep their name out of your mouth and or retract your statements. They probably want him to retract as well. All right. So it says Ray J's false and defamatory campaign against plaintiffs began in earnest during a May 30th TMZ interview where he made the first public statement suggesting blah, 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 blah. They say the same thing 11 times. We want to know verbatim what were the phrases. Here they are in blue. It says, quote, if you told me that the Kardashians was being charged for racketeering, I might believe it. Non-actionable. By non-actionable, it means that can't even be a defamatory thing. He's saying, I might believe it. That's his opinion. Opinions cannot be the basis of defamation. Opinions are protected by the First Amendment, just like live porn is protected by the First Amendment, as we learned in the Diddy case. Another second statement. They're now saying, this lawsuit says, this statement was designed to plant the seed in the public's mind that Miss Kardashian and Miss Jenner were somehow comparable to an individual facing serious federal charges despite having no factual basis for such a comparison. First of all, they can't say he has no factual basis. Part of his basis might be that he may feel, and per his prior commentary, that Kris Kardashian has been pimping these girls and that she has trafficked her own children. That is his personal opinion. And Ray J, if you're watching this, I'm sure you've got better things to do. But if I've said any of this incorrectly, I will happily retract and or correct. But if it is his personal opinion that the only difference, or that there are multiple differences, but that Kris was a trafficker of her daughters, that's his opinion. And therefore, he has a right to say, in his opinion, if you told me they were being charged for racketeering, and by racketeering, I'm sure it's my understanding that he means something along the lines of dealing with women and or sex. He's saying, I might believe it. It says, now this petition then says, to date, Ray J has not retracted his knowingly false and disparaging statement. His defamatory statement led to tabloid publications with headlines such as Rico charge is totally bogus. Kardashians, yes. Diddy, no. Again, his opinion. His opinion. He can say, Diddy, no. Kris Jenner, yes. That is his opinion. And there's two claims in this lawsuit. One is defamation. The other is false light. The law that I'm referring to applies similarly to both. Now in 25, it says, Ray J's defamatory statements escalated dramatically on or around September 24th when he falsely claimed during a social media live stream to millions of viewers that federal authorities had initiated a criminal investigation into plaintiffs. That is not true. That is not what he said. They are lying. They are lying. This is an important distinction. He is not saying they already have. He is saying they may in the future. That is distinctly different, and I'll explain why. They then say, Ray J made the statements during a live stream with Krishan Rock, a rapper and TV personality who has over 7 million followers across social media platforms. During the live stream, Ray J made the following false and fabricated statements. Now, each of these statements would be evaluated by the court. And the statements that are opinions are not actionable. The statements under either defamation or false light, but the ones that are attempting to be factual are a problem. So the first one, the federal RICO I'm about to drop on Kris and Kim is about to be crazy. If he's active, if he on that date, that was September 24th, is working on one, it ain't actionable. Sorry, I don't mean to yell at y'all. I'm not yelling at you guys. It's not actionable. It's not. The dates matter. September 24th, he said that the date of filing this is October 1st. When he says, I'm about to drop on them, here's the thing. We all know you can't force the police to pick up and pursue charges, but you can take your facts to the police. How do we know that? Well, we saw that in the Cassie case. We saw that in Cassie. Cassie started with something civil, and the civil turned into criminal, and here we are today. So him saying the federal RICO I'm about to drop on Kris and Kim is about to be crazy. That could be interpreted to mean I am about to take some evidence to the feds. It does not mean the feds are going to pick up the charges, not from this sentence. We're going to go to each sentence separately. But from this, that basically is the same as saying, I'm about to tell the police about some stuff that I know about Kris and Kim. Okay, next statement. The feds is coming. There's nothing I can do about it. Now that arguably is a problem. The feds is coming. Now, first of all, no, we didn't. This boy didn't go. I don't know how. I think this boy homeschooled himself for a long time. Now, that could be interpreted as a fact or an opinion. A deposition would be required. A fact or opinion. Here's why I say that. The feds is coming. It could be him saying implicitly, once I tell the feds what I'm going to be telling them, they're going to come after them. Well, you don't ever know that for sure. But you are allowed to state those facts in the way that I'm telling it all. I'm telling the feds. And if he can prove that he tried to set up a meeting with the feds to tell whatever he was going to tell, he would be protected. If he's not made any attempts to speak to the feds or police officers or anything like that, then he got a problem. So I would say that would be the first statement that's problematic. The next one, the bottom one, it's worse than Diddy. It's worse than Diddy. Opinion, not actionable. Here's why. He could feel it's his opinion that what Kris has done that he is aware of, whether it's to him or anyone else, is worse than what Diddy. Here's why. He may see that what Diddy has done or was accused of doing was threesomes with his girlfriend. Well, in that case, if you're comparing threesomes with your girlfriend to pimping out your daughters, arguably it could be seen as worse. I am not saying she's pimped out her daughters. I am saying that is out. Those are allegations. And that is some of the context and the beliefs of how Kris has treated her children over the years with respect to the way they were raised, basically. And particularly selling the tape to the highest bidder. And we all know Ray J was always bitter about the fact he got really upset 2 years ago, I believe it was 2022, when the Kardashians had an entire episode that was made to make him look like the bad guy regarding the tapes. Because he said that simply wasn't true, that it was always agreed, it was always orchestrated by the mom, by Kris, that has never been a secret, that's never been unknown. And then for them to make an entire episode making Ray J look like the bad guy was diabolical and could be part of a fraud. That if that is the case, because she is in Kris, publicly went on national TV, and told the world, has always said, no, I had nothing to do with it. I had nothing to do with that leak. In fact, let me see if I can find it. In fact, there was a time when she went on, it was James Cardone, something like that. She went on that show, took an actual lie detector test on national TV to try and prove that she didn't lie about the leaks of the tapes. That this is Kris Jenner. Now, I don't want to get a copyright strike, so I'm not going to play this whole video, but this is the episode of James Cardone. It's called The Late Late Lie Detector with Kris and Kylie, where Kris Jenner actually takes a lie detector and they ask her, did she leak the tape? Did she have anything to do with the leakage of the S tape? And she says no. So in turn, it could be that Ray J feels that she has committed fraud, that she's lied about it, that I don't know, it could be a plethora of things. But the end result is that any of this that's based on opinions and not facts, it can't be the basis of defamation. And on those phrasings, Ray J would win. Now we've got some more to review. Here we go. So let's see, going back to it. So then the third statement is, it's worse than Diddy, total opinion. Then he says, quote, I'm on the news every day. I'm going to say a lot of S. Hello, how is that defamatory? That's his right. I'm on the news every day. I'm going to say a lot of S-H-I-T. That's not a defamatory statement. And then next, anybody that is cool with Kim, they need to tell her now. The rain is coming. The feds is coming. Now that, again, arguably, the feds is coming. It really just depends. Because if he believes, he isn't Ray J, believes, number one, if he is sat down with any type of law enforcement that he believes could be looking into this, then that's one thing. But what they're saying, they as in the Kardashians are saying, hey, no such investigation exists. And if Ray J hasn't even made steps to create that investigation, then Ray J would have a problem. And so I think the two actionable statements that are a problem are basically these two that say the feds is coming. The feds is coming. If he has not, in fact, done anything to create the federal investigation and or participate in one. And those would be ones where they absolutely have the ability to create a long drawn out lawsuit, because those could likely withstand like a motion to dismiss. He would, again, but what I'm saying is they would likely need depositions, right? Here's the thing about depositions for stuff like this. Hold on. Before I talk about the depositions, I want to, this next statement in blue is the law, right? The law says wrongful accusations of criminal conduct are among the most clear and egregious type of defamatory statements, and false accusations of crime are liable per se. Hey, at the end of if I was Ray J's lawyer, I would say my client believes that they've committed fraud for years and years and years, and they've trafficked on the fraud being lies about what has been going on behind closed doors, and that could be sufficient. Also, as I mentioned, to find out whether those statements are truly defamatory in part is based upon whether or not, Ray J reasonably believed that the feds is coming. So that would require a deposition. And the cool thing about that, not cool because it's weird. The interesting thing about that is, guess what else that deposition would reveal? That Mama Kris Jenner lied. That she lied about the sex tape. Bow Chicka Wow Wow. She lied about the Bow Chicka Wow Wow sex tape. Okay. Everybody know. Anybody with a little bit of common sense knows. Oh, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and you can hit this little, this little QR code if you'd like to schedule a consultation with me anywhere in the world. We all, anyone with common sense, anyone who just isn't like a slow learner knows, yes, she leaked it. But many feel that the ends justify the means. So there's that. Whatever. In the end, this is going to be an interesting lawsuit because I think there's a lot of ghosts in the closet. Is that what they call it? Snakes in the closet, whatever. Skeletons. That's what it is. Skeletons in the closet that them Kardashians likely do not want out. That will be busted wide open. And they're going to get busted wide open if depositions take place in this case. So again, in summary, I think this is largely a publicity thing to manage PR because they've likely got brands who are like, what is this boy talking about? We know this boy is a little nutty. The hope is likely they could get him to sign an agreement that says he will zip his lips, shut his trap, keep their names out of his mouth. Yeah, keep their names out of his mouth, and that this can all go away so they can keep making their billions. Whereas Ray J likes the attention, bless his heart. He needs more back rubs. Well, he needs some medication. He needs a therapist, and he might need what do they call it, when you take the brain out and you try to figure out what's wrong with it, whatever that's called. Anyway, that's not my business. Anyway, let me know your thoughts below. Do you feel like those statements, the feds is coming, do you think those are strong enough? I definitely think that's really what is pissing off these girls. But again, it's only been 1 week between him saying that, them filing this lawsuit. So my advice, if I were Ray J's lawyers, I'd have him go sit down with the feds, tell them everything that they know. And guess what? Even if the feds decide not to pick up the charges, he could then say, I always had the honest belief that if I went and I told them what I knew, they would investigate and likely want to pursue charges. That's all that would be required for him to win on all those allegedly defamatory statements, because either the statements weren't defamatory at all, or the feds is coming could arguably be in the future, meaning he was going to sit down with the feds soon, and in doing so, it no longer makes it defamatory. I'm your legal bestie, Attorney Simone. Drop down below. Let me know what you'd like me to cover in the future. Bye, y'all.